Welcome to Your Career. I'm your host and resident career expert, Todd Bermont. We are coming to you live from beautiful downtown Conroe, Texas on Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5 and 106.1, irlonestar.com. Each week on this program, we'll be discussing key topics to empower you to succeed with the job search and your career. In addition, we'll share with you the latest career-related news and jobs data you can use to land your new job and make more money. Our goal with your career is to share with you insider secrets and tips you can use whether you are looking for a new job or just want to make more on your existing one. On today's program, we'll be discussing how to market your skills to get interviews and land a new job. In specific, we'll talk about resumes and LinkedIn. Have you ever been frustrated applying to jobs online and never hearing back? Have you ever wondered, what can you do to get more job interviews? If so, today's show is for you. Today is going to be a fun show. Today I am honored. First of all, I have my lovely and beautiful wife, Paula, in the studio today, so I'm really excited about that. And for those of you who can't see, she's waving in the background there. But I'm really excited because our guests on today's program are my twin 10-year-old daughters, Haley and Stephanie Bermont. And you may be wondering, why is Todd Bermont having two 10-year-olds on to discuss resumes? Well, I constantly get asked by folks, how do I create a resume when I have no job experience? Or they ask, I've been a stay-at-home parent for the last 10 years. How can I create a resume with such a huge gap in employment like that? Also, many college students wonder, how do I write a resume? I have not had a job in my field before. I'm so excited because we're going to create two resumes on the air with two 10-year-old girls. If we can complete a compelling resume for two 10-year-olds, you can certainly create one for yourself. So before diving in, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Todd Bermont, author of 10 Insider Secrets to a Winning Job Search and founder of TCC Learning of League City, Texas. My company, TCC Learning, has created an online program to empower you to land your dream job. To learn more, visit tcclearning.com and use the coupon code YOURCAREER in all caps. That's YOURCAREER in all caps to receive a 20% discount off any of our programs. That's tcclearning.com. Now, I always like to start the program with the current jobs data. Great news. The unadjusted number of claims for this past week was once again just short of 200,000 people across the country. While this is still a large number of people, almost 8,000 fewer people lost their jobs last week versus the previous week. That is very good news. Unfortunately, Texas saw a bit of an uptick again in claims for the second week in a row. A little over 1,700 more people filed for unemployment in Texas last week than the previous week. But still, the number is significantly better than it was a year ago. So take heart. There are still plenty of employers hiring. Also, do you know any veterans? If so, I'm excited to report two exciting events. The first is the Red, White, and You hiring event on November 10th at Minute Maid Park. The second is that I will be hosting a live job search training event for veterans on November 3rd at San Jac College. This event is free for veterans. I'm doing this in conjunction with Connect Vets, San Jacinto College, and the Texas Veterans Commission. In this exciting event, we'll be teaching how to write a resume that'll grab attention and how to translate your skills developed while serving our nation to land a job worthy of your experience and service to our nation. It's our way of giving back to those who have put their lives on the line to protect our way of life. Thank you for your service. Now let's dive in on today's topic, marketing your skills. When it comes to the job search and your career in general, it's always important to establish a personal brand for yourself. Think of your favorite beverages. When it comes to soda pop, what do you think of? When you go to a restaurant to order a beverage, what do you order? Most people order a Coke. Or how about when it comes to automobiles? How does BMW market themselves? They are the ultimate driving machine, at least so they say. So what is your brand? What do you want to be known as? What is your reputation? What kind of reputation do you want to be perceived as having out in the workforce? What are your key selling points? There are many ways to establish your personal brand. When it comes to your career, perhaps the two most powerful tools to establish your brand are with LinkedIn and resumes. When we come back, we will explore both. So with that being said, you are currently listening to Your Career with Todd Bermont on Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5, 106.1, and irlonestar.com. Stay tuned as we will be having a lot of fun later in the program.
Lone Star Community Radio is FM. That's right. Set your radio dials and your button presets to Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1, coming in June of 2016. To celebrate this edition and the addition of video versions of our talk and music shows on YouTube, cable TV, and Our City TV, we are offering special sponsorships rates, which include free audio spots that are played throughout our broadcast. Interested? Check out our sponsor rates for shows just like the one you're listening to online at irlonestar.com/sponsor or call the station at 936-647-5747. Reaching the people of Montgomery County with Montgomery County's community radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
Welcome back to Your Career. I'm your host and resident career expert, Todd Bermont. Each week on Your Career, we will be sharing valuable information you can use to further your career and land the ideal job. When we left off, we talked about the importance of establishing a personal brand. The first tool I'd like to talk to you about to promote your personal brand is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an online social networking site designed specifically for the business community. The goal of the site is to allow registered members to establish and document networks of people they know and trust professionally. When you think about it, LinkedIn is really like the Facebook of business. LinkedIn is an incredible tool to both market your skills as well as to network for job opportunities. I don't care if you're in college or if you're 60 years old. Every job seeker today should have a LinkedIn profile. And even if you're not looking for a job, you should have a profile as well. First of all, there is no such thing as a job for life in today's world. And you just never know when you may need to utilize your network of contacts. So it's very important to try to connect with as many people as possible on LinkedIn and to have an incredible profile. Because you don't know, some company may want to reach out and hire you. Even if you're happy in your current job, you may find an even more incredible opportunity. So what is LinkedIn? A LinkedIn profile, it's like a resume on steroids. On your profile, I highly recommend you include a professional picture, a compelling title, and any relevant work, education, and career experience. The neat thing about a LinkedIn profile is it's just like your Facebook profile. It can be very dynamic. And you can also include multimedia. So if you have video of perhaps a video blog, or if you have video of demonstrating your expertise or skills in a given area, you can also have video links to videos on your LinkedIn profile as well. But at the very least, it's basically an online chronological version of your resume. So to learn more about LinkedIn, visit www.linkedin.com. That is LinkedIn.com. LinkedIn.com. Now let's talk about perhaps the most important job search tool to establish your brand. That is your resume. A resume is a biographical summary of your career. Just like websites have an About Us section on the website to tell you about a given company, your resume is like the About Us section for you. A resume paints a picture of your experience, your credentials, your skills, and your accomplishments. There are several formats of resumes. The two most popular are chronological and functional. A chronological resume is where you structure your work experience by date worked, where a functional resume is structured by function or skill set. Chronological resumes are the most popular and preferred. Whenever you have a stellar experience with few gaps in employment, the chronological format is the best one to use. However, for those of you who have never had a job before, or maybe you've not had a lot of relevant experience, or maybe you have large gaps in time when you are not formally employed, then a functional resume may be best for you. Regardless of the type resume format that you choose, every resume should have 6 core components. Number 1, you should have your contact information. This is certainly an obvious one. However, there are a couple points I do want to point out here. So first of all, typically you place your contact information at the top of the page on the resume. And on that you include your name, address, phone number, and email address. But be sure to have a professional email address. 76% of resumes get rejected because of a bad email address. Did you get that? 76% of resumes get rejected just because of the email address. So what you want to have on that is a very professional email address. yourname.lastname@gmail.com would be a great example of a very professional email address. If that's not available, try a first initial last name or a first initial last name @gmail.com. But have a very professional email address. The second and perhaps most important component of your resume is a summary, profile, or what I like to call a value proposition. Now in the past, back in the Stone Ages when I was graduating from college in the 80s, we were always told to have an objective on our resume. And believe it or not, I still see thousands of resumes that have an objective statement on the resume. And in today's competitive world, you see, an objective statement is all about what you want from the employer. But in today's world, it's so competitive, it's really about what you can do for the employer instead. So rather than having an objective statement on your resume, I highly suggest having a summary or a profile or a value proposition. You can call it one of those 3 things. And it is here that you provide a brief synopsis about what you will it's basically what describes you as an individual. And in the synopsis, you want it to give an overview of you, but you also want it to grab attention. This should be a 2 to 4 sentence paragraph that entices the reader to want to learn more about you. In the past, like I mentioned, people use that objective statement, so rather here you want to really establish, well, why should somebody want to talk to you? So I want you to think about, for the summary, it's almost like a combination of an elevator pitch, an objective statement, and a summary about who you are, or a short biography about who you are, and a cover letter, all merged into one. So the third component that you should have on your resume are accomplishments. These are highlights of your career. Accomplishments should be quantifiable, and they should also be objective successes, not opinions. This is where a lot of people fail when it comes to the resume. They litter the resume with so many opinions. They say, I am a great team player, or they say, I am an awesome communicator. or they have all sorts of opinions. But how do you prove these opinions? You can't. So that's why accomplishments on the resume should be quantifiable and they should be objective. And in the second half of the program, when we have my daughters on for the interview, we're going to show some examples of accomplishments in their life that we can quantify and include on the resume. So far we've talked about having a contact information, a summary, and then accomplishments on your resume. The fourth component of your resume is, of course, the work experience. Now, for those of you like my daughters who might not have actual paid job experience, there are other forms of experience that you can list like jobs in this section. And again, we'll show examples of that with my daughters in the second half of the program. But with the work experience, this is where you list out the employers that you have worked for, the dates that you worked, or at least the years where you worked, and you also list out what were your key responsibilities and results that you generated on the job. So those are a couple of the things that you'll want to focus on in the work experience section of the resume. Now, the fifth section of the resume, this is where you can list your knowledge, skills, and abilities. This is where you list out key skills that you possess. Examples might be maybe you're proficient in Microsoft Office and you're great at PowerPoint or Excel or Microsoft Word. These are all skills that you can list in the skills section of the resume. Perhaps you have project management skills, customer service skills. Maybe you have electrical skills, welding skills. Whatever these skills might be, it is the skills section of your resume where we're going to highlight those capabilities that you have. Now, the sixth point on the resume, the sixth core component, is formal education. And it is here where you outline any relevant education, certificates, certifications that you might have, or credentials that you might have. So regardless of what type of resume or format you use, you'll want to list your education for sure, even if you're 60 years old. Because hiring managers like me, if you leave out your education, we're going to think you're hiding something from us. So it's important to have the education on the resume as well. So regardless of what type of resume format you use, chronological or functional, be sure to have these six core components somewhere on your resume. And again, that's contact information, a summary, accomplishments, work experience, skills, and education. Now, let's explore some resume best practices. Number one, grab attention in 30 seconds or less. Think of a movie commercial. A movie commercial gets 30 seconds to convince you to go to a 2-hour movie. Do they show you the boring and mundane scenes? No, they show you the most exciting scenes. Your resume should be the same way. It's essential that in the top third of the first page of your resume that you grab attention. Otherwise, your resume will be wadded up and tossed across the room, and with any luck, it will land in the garbage can. So we definitely want the resume to capture attention in 30 seconds or less. In fact, some HR professionals, they will proudly go on TV and radio and say, "Why, I only spend 7 seconds looking at a resume." Well, I personally can't read a resume in 7 seconds, but I can tell you as a hiring manager, certainly it's possible to do it in 30 seconds. Now, the second best practice for your resume is make it easy to read and optimize for the applicant tracking systems. Many of today's resumes are first reviewed by computers, not humans. So think about that. Computers are determining whether or not you get an interview. That's crazy. Computer programs called applicant tracking systems look for keywords on your resume that are in alignment with the job description. They are designed to weed out as many candidates as possible. That's right, you heard me correctly. Applicant tracking systems are designed to purposely weed you out. Why is that? Well, the average online job posting gets over 250 resumes. Yet a hiring manager like me will only interview 5 people to start. So be sure your resumes have plenty of keywords that will get you interviews and get you past those pesky applicant tracking systems. Next, make sure your resume is customized for the opportunity. Because of the applicant tracking systems, it's now very important to customize your resume for each and every job that you might apply for. The summary or value proposition section of your resume that we talked about earlier, that is a great place to customize it like you would a cover letter and sprinkle in key words from each job description. Point 4, use action verbs. Action verbs grab attention like the best scenes on a movie commercial. Again, when you think about those movie commercials, they show you the most exciting scenes, the action scenes. And action verbs are what create that moment of action on your resume. Action verbs include words like implemented, directed, achieved, grew, increased, reduced, supervised. There's literally hundreds of action verbs that you can use throughout your resume. Point 5, objective and truthful, not subjective and deceitful. Let me say that again. You want your resume to be objective and truthful, not subjective and deceitful. Again, so many job seekers make the mistake of either stretching the truth on the resumes or being too opinionated. And as my mom used to say when she was alive, when you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. So be truthful on your resumes and try to eliminate opinions. You say you are a team player, prove it. Instead of stating an opinion, put facts on your resume that will lead people to come to that conclusion. If instead of saying you're a team player, you mention that you led a team of 6 students to getting the highest grade in the class on a team project, that tells me far more than you are than you just telling me that you're a team player. So, in summary, when it comes to job search and career advancement, it's very important to establish a personal brand. The best tools to establish your personal brand are a LinkedIn profile and your resume. Both should be compelling, and both should grab attention in 30 seconds or less. Well, that brings us to the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned, because when we return, I will be interviewing our special guests, Haley and Stephanie Bermont. We will show you how even 2 10-year-olds can create an incredible resume. You are listening to Your Career with Todd Bermont on Conroe's 104.5, 106.1, and irlonestar.com.
Want to check out what it's like to be on the radio? Need credit for school? For an internship? Then contact Dick online at dick@irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are here to be part of the community.
Welcome back to Your Career. I'm your host and resident career expert, Todd Bermont. Each week on Your Career, we will be sharing valuable information you can use to further your career and land the ideal job. If you've ever been frustrated with the job search or hated Mondays, this program is for you. Today's program is all about establishing your personal brand and creating a compelling resume that will grab attention and get you interviews. And I am really excited today because in the studio, I have 2 guests today, my twin daughters, Haley Bermont and Stephanie Bermont. And girls, welcome to the program.
Hi. It's great to be here.
All right, well, let's dive in. You're probably wondering why on a career show do we have 2 10-year-olds today? And a lot of people struggle when it comes to creating the resume, and they wonder, well, how do I fill out a resume, and what type of experience can I put on a resume, and what's quantifiable or not quantifiable? And so we're going to go through that today. So let's dive in. And first of all, I'd like to ask Haley, the older twin daughter, by how many minutes?
9 minutes.
9 minutes. You're 9 minutes older than...
Makes a big difference.
A big difference, huh? All right. So Haley, what job would you like to get with your resume?
Well, I'm applying for a lead actress in Broadway in Houston.
So you'd like to get a job at Broadway in Houston. Why would you like to get a job, of all things, with Broadway in Houston?
Well, I love to be on the stage and to be someone I'm not. And Broadway travels, and I'm always fascinated by the shows I watched, especially Wicked. We just previously saw that, so yeah.
Oh, you like that show,
Yeah.
huh? Excellent. And so, Stephanie, if we're creating a resume for you, what job would you like to apply for?
I would like to be an actress at Tuts Theater in Houston as well. And some of the shows that I've seen that interested me was Cinderella, Joseph, Music Man, and the Rockettes.
Oh, interesting. So it's interesting. One of you would like to apply at Broadway in Houston, and the other one with Tuts. That's really interesting. So let's look at how we would go about structuring the resumes for Haley and Stephanie. So first of all, Haley, what makes you think you're qualified to be an actress of all things at Broadway in Houston?
Well, qualifications.
What experience do you have that makes you think
okay.
that you could be in the theater?
Well, I have participated in 6 or 7 shows in the past 3 years. So
What types of shows?
Musicals, such as The Little Mermaid, Jungle Book, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, Annie, and Lion King and the Aristocats. So.
Oh wow, that's quite a few shows. So were these paid events, or was it summer camps, or
Yeah.
how'd you get this experience of starring in these shows?
Well, most of these shows, all except Lion King, which was a school product thing-ish.
A school product thing-ish? How about a school production, huh?
Yeah. I was looking for the word. And the rest of them were summer camps.
This is amazing. My daughter Haley, who's on stage and never nervous on stage, seems like she's a little bit nervous here in the radio studio today, fumbling around a little bit. But even with that, though, one of the things that she brought out was the fact that she has starred in 6 or 7 shows already. So we would highlight that both in the summary as well as the experience section of the resume. So how many years, Haley, of theater experience do you have?
Since I moved here, which was about 3 years.
Okay, so 3 years of experience. Now, Stephanie, what makes you feel like you're qualified for the theater?
I feel like I'm qualified because we did 6 productions already, and
And what types of shows were you in?
I was also in The Little Mermaid, Jungle Book, Annie, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, The Lion King, and the Aristocats, and now we're working on Beauty and the Beast at our school.
Beauty and the Beast at your school. Wow. Yes. So, what kind of role do you have in Beauty and the Beast?
I have Mrs. Potts, and I beat about 62 people for it.
62 people tried out for Mrs. Potts, and you were chosen of all people to star as Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast at the Parr Elementary School production of, it's Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's interesting. And how many years of theater experience do you have, Stephanie?
I as well have 3 years.
3 years of experience. Okay, so with Stephanie's summary, we would also highlight the fact that she's got 3 years of experience in the theater, and that also she's had a lead role in a play as well. And but we also, though, there's more things that we want to bring out in a resume, because we want to, again, have a compelling resume that's going to differentiate both of you from your competition. So going back to Haley now, so Haley, besides the shows that you've starred in, what other experience do you have that would make Broadway in Houston want to consider hiring you?
Well, I for one am in my school's choir, which is pretty fun. Also in the district honor choir, where up to 8 fifth graders get to go to, well, honor choir to sing. So yeah.
And where do you sing as a part of the honor choir?
In Robinson Elementary, I believe.
Okay, so it travels to some different schools?
Well, just the one.
Oh, just the one? Okay. So you mentioned that, so how many students from your school are in the honor choir?
Well, 8 is the max, but we only have 5 from our school out of 150 fifth graders.
Only 5 students out of 150 fifth graders have the honor of being in the honor choir. Mm-hmm. Wow. So that's interesting. So on the resume, in the summary, we'll also want to highlight that Haley apparently has some singing experience as well, as she's in the honor choir. And then in the accomplishments section, we'll want to, rather than saying, well, Haley is a good singer, a lot of people on their resume, they'll say, well, I am a great singer. Really? Yeah. Well, how do you prove that you are a great singer? Well, instead of having that opinion that Haley is a great singer, instead you could have a bullet point that says, one of 5 students chosen out of 150 to be in the honor choir. So that's a quantifiable accomplishment that in itself says that she is a great singer, because otherwise she wouldn't have been one of the 5 students chosen for the honor choir, right? So, yeah. Stephanie, what other accomplishments are in your background that would make Tuts say, wow, because any kid can say, oh, well, I starred in a school theater production. I mean, even when I was a kid, I starred in a school theater production. And in college, I was even in a fraternity sorority theater production. As my kids are giving me these facial expressions because they can't believe that their dad has ever been able to sing and dance. But believe it or not, your dad did sing and dance once. Not very well, but but anyway, I did perform. So back to you guys though. So Stephanie, what other accomplishments do you have that would lead one to believe that you might be a good hire for Tuts?
Well, some accomplishments that I have is dancing, doing gymnastics, and singing, because we do voice lessons in choir and honor choir now, and we used to do dance and gymnastics, and that would really help getting into the theater.
All right. So what Stephanie pointed out here was, and this is a good example to help illustrate the different parts of a resume. So what Stephanie pointed out were not necessarily accomplishments, but more skills that Stephanie possesses on why Tuts might want to hire Stephanie. So Stephanie railed off the fact that you can dance. You've taken, how many years of dance experience do you have?
About 4 years.
4 years of dance experience. And what types of dance have you done in the past?
I did ballet, hip-hop, jazz, tap, and that's about it.
Okay, so right there, that shows tremendous diversity in skill set. Being able to dance to all those types of things, I I can't even dance the two-step, and so that just shows some great skills that would certainly be applicable to getting hired over at Tuts Theater Under the Stars, right? So when we come back, we're going to continue our interview with Haley and Stephanie, and we're going to continue to build that resume. So with that, you are listening to Your Career with Todd Bermont on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and irlonestar.com. Stay tuned.
I know you know this already, but most of the shows on Lone Star Community Radio are available in podcast format. If you want to keep up with the latest shows, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lone Star Community Radio, and our website at irlonestar.com. You can even follow us on SoundCloud and Twitter to see the latest posts from Lone Star Community Radio. Can't find a show? Then just search for it on irlonestar.com in the search bar to the top right of every page. Or just contact us on irlonestar.com/contact us with your questions, demands, sponsorships, anything. Lone Star Community Radio is your Montgomery County community radio station.
Welcome back to Your Career. I'm your host and resident career expert, Todd Bermont. Each week on Your Career, we will be sharing valuable information you can use to further your career and land the ideal job. I am so excited with today's program because not only do I have my lovely and beautiful wife, Paula, sitting in the studio with us today, but we have as our guests Haley and Stephanie Bermont, my twin daughters. And how old are you guys?
10.
10? And
Almost 11.
Almost 11?
2 weeks.
Yeah?
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, when's your birthday?
October 17th, and we
Same.
were born in 2005.
Same.
And how many minutes apart?
9. It makes a big
A
difference.
big difference, huh? All right. So let's get back to the resume. So we were in the process of building the kids' resumes, and we were talking about what job they wanted ideally. And Haley was saying that she'd like to get a job with as an actress with Broadway in Houston. And Stephanie, you'd like to get a job as an actress
At Theater Under the Stars, a.k.a. Tuts Theater.
All right. Oh, I like that. AKA. All right. I like that. Where'd you learn that?
I don't know.
Somewhere.
So when we were building Stephanie's resume, we kind of got hung up a little bit on the difference between skills and accomplishments because they are two different things. And don't worry, Stephanie, because even people are in their 50s and 60s tend to confuse these things. So it's quite all right. This is your first resume, and we're building it live on the radio, which not too many people do, right? So let's get back to the accomplishments, and I'd like to go back to Haley now. And so Haley, we talked about the fact that you have 3+ years of experience in theater, that you've starred in 6 or 7 musical productions.
Yep.
And what other and we also talked about the fact that you made the honor choir. And what other accomplishments do you have that may be relevant to getting a job at Broadway in Houston?
Well, the past 3 years, I have gotten into the school talent show, which is where obviously a talent show at the end of each year, and and we get to show it off in front of the whole school.
So how many kids are in the school?
Over 830.
Over 830 kids, and how many make the talent show out of 830 kids?
I think the max from each grade, kindergarten through 5th grade, is 5 kids from every single grade. So that's about maybe 30 kids.
Oh, so you are learning a little bit of math in school. That's great.
Math.
That's good. You both know math, huh? Well, that was good to do that multiplication on the air. So again, all right. So on Haley's resume, instead of Haley saying, well, I am a talented individual, which people will say on the resumes, right? That, oh,
Not
I'm
me.
a team player. I'm a talented individual. Okay, well, instead of Haley saying, well, I'm a talented individual, instead she can, under the accomplishments section, she can have a bullet point that said 3 years in a row, one of 30 students out of over 800 chosen to be in a talent show. Now, Stephanie, have you any accomplishments like that?
Yes, I have. Last year I won the class spelling bee, and I got in 5th place for the school spelling bee from grades 3rd to 5th. And another accomplishment that I have is getting an A/B honor roll for my grades and all A's too, and getting a Patriot Pride Award, which that's basically good behavior, and the Perfect Attendance Award.
Well, that's outstanding. So these are all great accomplishments, and let's take a look at them one by one. Okay, so the first accomplishment was the spelling bee, right? So, Stephanie, what skill would a spelling bee demonstrate that could be applicable for the theater?
Basically memorization.
Memorization, yeah. So instead of Stephanie saying on her resume, "Oh, I'm really good at memorization," instead of Stephanie saying that, instead, by having a bullet point under accomplishments that said that she won her class spelling bee, and then came. Oh, you also did too, Haley?
Yeah.
And Haley came in. Haley won her class spelling bee as well.
Yeah.
And again, over 800 kids in the class, and so Stephanie, you came in 5th overall in your school in the spelling bee, and Haley, you came in
6th.
6th.
Yes, indeed.
But I did better
So
2
so
years ago.
so this was one area where the younger sister beat out the older sister, but
I would have.
as the
My
older
memory's
sister.
not as good as hers.
No, that's true. That's true. So, but that that shows that you can find strengths in every individual that we can highlight on the resume. So the next point I'd like to point out for Stephanie's resume, you had mentioned the spelling bee, and then you also mentioned that you had made the honor roll. Correct?
Yes, I did.
So what does that mean exactly? That you got what?
A's and B's, and that's what I get a lot of the times, but sometimes I get all A's, but mostly I just basically try my best not to get C's, D's, or F. Mostly A's and B's, because I know that's what you guys only allow.
Well, that's what we only allow. Oh, now you're going to get me in trouble. Well, we like to set high standards in the family, but to set the record straight, though, it's not that we allow or disallow. We just like to encourage that the girls do well in school because we feel that school is so important when it comes to life as a whole, and that you can never learn too much. So we always like to encourage the girls to do as well in their grades as possible. But with that being said, again, the fact that she achieved the honor roll, that is a great bullet point that could cause Tuts to think, boy, this might be a person worth hiring because of the fact that it shows dedication, it shows tenacity, it shows a willingness to learn. It shows so many positive things by being able to list out that particular accomplishment. Haley, what other types of accomplishments have you achieved?
Also mentioned before, I also won my class spelling bee and came in 6th place in the school spelling bee, which is also shown as memorization. As I said, I didn't do as well as Stephanie, but
What
did,
what other accomplishments does your school have? Any other types of awards or anything like that?
I get excellence in scholarship most of the time, which is all A's.
Wow. And what other types? Stephanie, what other types of awards have you won at school?
Perfect attendance, and that's basically being here at school every day. And Patriot Pride, that's basically getting good behavior, and I always get those two mostly.
Excellent. So let's take a look at those two awards as well. Perfect attendance and the Patriot Pride Award. So perfect attendance, Haley and Stephanie, do you think that a theater production company would want to know that the people that they're hiring to be actresses are going to be at practice every day?
Yes, as our director for the show for Beauty and the Beast, he made a note about that yesterday and said we want to have kids in our cast that are here every day. We don't want them leaving early or not being here for rehearsal. So I think perfect attendance is a really important part.
Okay, great. And now the Pride Award for behavior. Stephanie, do you think rather than you saying, "Oh, I'm a team player," that by winning an award for good behavior that might show that you're a team player?
No, because it's just like bragging basically, and it's not proving that you can be a good team player. Because, like, for example, if you say you're a really good team player and that's just your opinion, and other people prove that you're a bad team player, then that person shouldn't be on the team of some sort.
So, but by having good behavior, that makes you a good team player, right?
Yes.
Okay,
correct.
Great. So we're getting close to the end of the program here, but I'd like to wrap up a few key thoughts here. So when you think about the resume, here for our twin daughters, we've been able to build a summary to where we include their experience in the theater. We were able to list out some key quantifiable accomplishments, and we were able to list out skills such as dancing and gymnastics and singing. So those are all skills as well. So at the end of the day, I believe we have really built what is a truly compelling resume for both Haley and Stephanie. So Broadway in Houston or Theater Under the Stars, if you're listening to this program, there are two great actresses that now have incredible resumes that we've built on the air. So, wow, this segment flew by. The bottom line is, if we can create a compelling resume for two 10-year-old children, you too can create a resume that can grab attention and get you interviews. So that brings us towards the end of our program today. And, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much for listening. Next week, tune in because that's going to be a great show. We're going to uncover the hidden job market. That's right. Most people don't realize that only 2 out of every 10 new jobs are actually advertised. So next week, we're going to show you how do you find those other 80% of the jobs that aren't advertised. We're going to have a great guest on the program from Express Staffing. So remember, whether you're trying to land a new job or make more money in an existing job, the key is to believe in yourself and to maintain a winning attitude. If you have any questions, reach out to us on Facebook. You can learn more about our program by visiting irlonestar.com/yourcareer. This is Your Career with Todd Bermont. Thank you for listening and have a successful day.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production. produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.